activity last November. But even after that, we went to Marawi City and other areas to conduct a similar press conference so that we can update the media on what is happening in Marawi City. Ang una ko lang gustong talakayin, yung lumabas sa Washington Post na nagsasabi na Marawi is still a ghost city. Mukhang masyadong off-tangent dito sa katotohanan at kung ano nangyayari talaga sa Marawi City. Pag sinabi kasi natin ghost city, ang papasok sa ating mind, walang nangyayari at napapabayaan ng gobyerno na wala pong katotohanan. Ang Marawi City ngayon, if you will go there, mahirapan kang makarating hanggang sa center of the city dahil napakagrabe ng traffic. Business activity, economic activity, and movement of people, so many vehicles ang nagpupunta na sa Marawi City at this triggers economic activity. So wala pong katotohanan itong lumabas sa Washington Post. Kasi lahat ng nakakausap natin nagtatawa nga, bakit mo sasabihin na ghost city? Now, if the writer of that article was referring to the most affected area, that is only 250 hectares and that was devastated during the siege for 5 months. And 250 hectares is just 0.03 of the total area of 8,000 hectares. Mukha pong masyadong na-dramatize negatively. We would just like to say the reality on the ground na ito ay walang katugmang nangyayari on the ground na ghost city siya, but instead it's full of economic activity. And I think this can be attributed to the whole of government approach convergence efforts na ginagawa ng ating gobyerno. When I was there during the siege, yes, the whole city, whole 8,000, maybe 70%, parang ghost city. Walang andon na sasakyan dahil hindi pinapapasok ng military, not even nagbibisikleta, walang civilian sa loob ng city. Sa labas lahat. That was in 2017. From May to October. But now, city na talaga and it is alive and booming. Now, even before the President declared that Marawi is liberated from the Maotic group last October 17, as early as August, for you to see yung desire and determination of the government to conduct intervention activities. As early as August, may fighting pa. Nagsisimula na ang DPWH, ang National Housing Authority, na mag-conduct ng land preparation for the construction of temporary housing units. In fact, sa katotohanan, first week of September, we have to stock for 2 weeks dahil yung bala umaabot dun sa temporary shelter site in Barangay Sagunsongan. Makikita natin dito ang desire ng ating gobyerno na immediately we have the foresight to conduct land development para makapag-construct ng temporary shelter. Kaya nagtataka ako sa mga komentaryo na nag-criticize na wala raw nangyayari ang gobyerno at walang ginagawa. At the risk of lives of government employees, nag-start na ang land development as early as August. That was why, January of 2018, ang ating presidente nagpunta ng Marawi. January 30, I think, or 27, the president went to Marawi City to distribute 500 temporary shelter units. Normally, ang isang developer, pagka gumagawa ng 500 units, it will take 1 to 2 years. For that period of less than 6 months, nakapagbigay tayo ng 500 units na temporary shelter. At itong temporary shelter na pinagawa ng ating gobyerno, ito ay kakaiba. Dahil subdivision type, at merong common facilities. Kung napunta kayo sa Marawi City, makita nyo para kayong subdivision. Itong temporary shelter natin, concrete with drainage system and common facilities. Now, as of January of 2019, a total of 2,000 temporary shelter units were already constructed. And by March 31, it will have a total of 2,500. And we are targeting by the end of the year to have 4,000 to 4,500 temporary shelter units that can be given to residents displaced by the Marawi seeds. Now, at the start of the seeds, we have about 96 evacuation centers housing more than 6,000 families. Ngayon, ang evacuation center po natin, wala na outside Marawi City. Dati meron sa Cagayan de Oro, meron sa Lanao del Norte. Wala nang lahat sa labas ng Marawi City. At ang meron na lang 2 evacuation centers inside Marawi City with about 300 families. And by March 31, siya ang target natin para totally wala ng evacuation centers in the whole area. So yan ang masabi natin na interventions na ginawa kaagad ng ating gobyerno. And likewise, sa different government agencies, andyan ang DSWD, DOH, DA, and so forth, nagbigay ng immediate relief assistance. Nagbigay ng ang DSWD, camp management in the evacuation centers. Ang DOH, sanitation and hygiene. Ibinigay ng ating gobyerno ang lahat ng suporta at ayuda para yung mga nakatira sa mga evacuation centers ay mabigyan ng agarang assistance, ayuda, para yung pamumuhay nila, even in evacuation centers, ay maibalik natin sa normalcy. And on business and livelihood, headed by the Department of Trade and Industry, nagkaroon tayo ng isang subcommittee to look after the business and livelihood aspect. Kaya ganyan na nangyayari ngayon sa Marawi City. So lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno, DSWD, DTI, even DAR and DA are involved in the business and livelihood aspect. Now likewise, the OPAC with the AFP and PNP and the non-government organizations, to ensure that we will have a very holistic approach, they are now focusing on peace building. So nagkakaroon tayo ng peace building effort kasi sinasabi ko nga, whatever infrastructure na mga gagawa natin at the end of the day, hindi natin ipagmamalaki, ipagyayabang na napagganda natin ang Marawi, hindi lang natin masabi, ibinalik natin sa dati, but instead, mas maganda pa kayo sa dati, hindi natin pwede ipagyabang ngayon kung there is no peaceful environment. Ang peaceful environment ay napaka-importanteng aspeto ng ating rehabilitation. Masabi ko nga, 50% lang ang infra. Another 50% is to have a peaceful environment para yung stigma ng Lanao del Sur, ang Marawi City, kaya walang pupuntang mga tourists, ay natatakot. Kailangan mawala po yun. And our objective is to ensure that Marawi will be one of the best tourist attractions in Mindanao at the end of the rehabilitation. On debris management, sabi ko nga, the heart and soul of the rehabilitation in Marawi City is the rehabilitation of the most affected area. And in the most affected area, our focus is debris management and the construction of road networks. Nagsimula yung ating groundbreaking last October 30 sa paggawa ng pag-start ng debris management. Nagkaroon lang tayo ng konting problema last December dahil ibang residente hindi nakuha na consent but na-demolish natin yung kanilang bahay. So we have to stop for a month. So nag-resume na ulit ang ating demolition and we are getting the consent, written consent of the residents. Surprisingly, out of one, let's say we have a 1,100 residents na kinuna natin ng consent, 550 did not give their consent, only 45% or 450 gave their consent. There is a challenge. There is a challenge on part of the national government as well as on the ground, because there must be a relationship between the national, the local government, and the residents. But of course, with our determination, we can have a middle ground to ensure that we can conduct the rehabilitation as smoothly as possible. Now, if we have what we call the Marshall Plan in the rehabilitation of Europe after the World War II, it was called the Marshall Plan. For Marawi, we are calling it the RICE Plan, or the Duterte administration's RICE Plan. RICE is an acronym that stands for Resiliency, Identity, Sustainability, and Evolution. So, the Marawi rehabilitation will be known as the RICE Plan of the Marawi rehabilitation. Maraming salamat and good morning to all of you.
Si Yusek may sadain?
Yes. Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps, Sec De Rosario, and ASEC Tony, and my colleagues here. As stated by Sec De Rosario, as chairman of the Task Force for Bangon Marami, there are actually lots of significant gains in terms of preparations and the start for reconstructions for the entire Marawi City. Basically, sabi na rin ni Sec De Rosario yung clearing debris on the 24 barangays, which is ultimately the main core of focus that we are looking at. But significantly, because also of the residents who were actually affected by the seeds are now started coming back, but they are actually residing outside the 24 or the most affected area, but they are actually in the 72 barangays, no, periphery of the ground zero, but still within the Marawi City. Now, DPWS as chairman of the reconstruction subcommittee under Sec Villar is actually focused on conceptualizing and now implementations of all these development plans within the 72 barangays. We have generated around 3 financing assistance. One is from grant that was actually given by Japanese government that constitute around 972 million pesos all in all. So those funding actually were actually focused on 3 major projects for the 72 barangays plus the project management contract. 2 contracts were actually groundbreaking nung nakaraang February 4, no? It was witnessed by many stakeholders around the area. And this is actually design and build concept projects, 2 months design and 1 year construction. So meaning February, March, this will be the design preparations. By April, we're starting with the groundworks now, no, for the constructions of the 40 kilometers trans-central roads. This covered actually the whole area of the 72 barangays, no. Basically, makikita nyo, the nearest that the affected families can go through nearer to the is actually in the 72 barangays. Nandyan sila nakapalibot. You could see even that there is even a transition of economic development from ground zero towards the 72 barangays. We are actually promoting here the creations of new economic hub within Marawi City because of its closeness to the 3 developed towns, particularly Sagiaran, Pecapo, and Marantao. So lahat po yan actually is geared towards development of Marawi City. And there is also the loan-funded projects by JICA. Nagkaroon na ng exchange of notes noong February 10, but eventually designing will be effective by this coming March, no, because we are still working with DPM, the Forward Obligation Authorities, and the SPA from OP to commence DOF for the negotiations for the financing, and that constitute around 4 billion pesos, no, as part of the conflict affected areas projects running to 12 billion for the entire ARM areas. And there is also the ADB funded projects. Ito na approval na rin to, na it was actually signed the loan agreement between Sec Dominguez and ADB nung last December 17. It runs to about 6.8 billion pesos. Now, what are these projects that goes through with the JICA loan and the ADB financing? Ito yung you could see from the map. That's about 19.8 kilometers ring roads. That's about 4 lanes. It's a new highway that will be constructed on the periphery of the Marawi city. Meaning if you travel from the east and west, Lanao, circumferential roads, you can go towards this ring road. And these ring roads is actually connected towards the Trans-Central Roads, which runs to a total of about 65 kilometers. No, that includes already yung grand portion. So all of these ODA funded projects actually for JICA and ADB actually place a lot of development potentials, no, in this area. There are also the 4 bridges that will be constructed. These are actually the Rorogagus Bridge, the Mapandi Bridge, then the Bangolo Bridge and Agus Bridge. All these 4 bridges that were actually affected by the siege will be reconstructed. Magkakaroon siya ng bagong construction that could actually ensure a more better social and economic connectivity, not only within Marawi City, but areas towards the cities of Iligan and Cotabato cities. No? So malaking infrastructures ang nakapalibot sa kanya. There are also infrastructures on flood control projects, yung mga drainage improvement, nandyan siya. Now, the works that are actually being to be implemented here actually falls within the standard design frameworks of the DPWH. No? Maliliit kasi yung kalsada doon sa loob ng Marawi City. In fact, most of these are narrow in size and thickness runs around 3 to 4 inches. But we'll be making it a more standard way by constructing at least 10 to 11 inches thick of roads, and you have around 7 meters carriageway plus 1 meter sidewalk and another 1 meter drainage on the opposite sides. No? So basically that constructions can give a more better accessibility to the motoring public within the cities. No? Now, the basic element here that we are looking at also is how also to ensure some other connections, no, from Marawi City towards the outer layers, especially for Cotabato and Iligan. There are still some roads that can be actually expanded from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, but we are now actually focusing on Marawi City to give way to this new development. So rest assured, the DPW, especially the infrastructure subcommittee, will continue working harmoniously with the task force chaired by Sec. De Rosario.
Okay, MPC questions? Rose Novenario.
Hi sir, good morning. General De Rosario. Sir, sa ratification po ng Bangsamoro Organic Law sa Marawi, ano po yung maaasahan para sa rehabilitasyon po ng syudad?
Well, I
Magiging
think
epekto nito sa rehabilitasyon ng syudad?
I think it will not affect at all. We just saying the leadership, but the policies will be the same. Para bang yung ARM ginawang BARM, pero kung ano yung agreements na ginawa with ARM will be respected by the BARM. Kasi it's the same project by the national government. Ang leadership lang naman, ang structural leadership, magkakapalitan, pari-political structure, but the implementation based on policies will be the same.
So makikipag-ugnayan po yung task force sa bubuing BARM?
Yes, actually, meron ng some leaders from the BARM who would like to engage with us. I requested them to just write an official letter because they are still awaiting for their official appointment But once appointment is released by the Office of the President, then we will officially engage them.
Anong klase po kayang intervention yung maitutulong ng BARM sa inyong task force?
With regards to intervention, we got that.
You're currently watching live pictures from Malacañang. The palace is currently conducting an economic briefing. Right now, they're talking about the Marawi rehabilitation. And who's speaking right now is Housing Secretary General Edward Del Rosario. He is also the Task Force Bangon Marawi chair. He started by belying an article from the Washington Post that he said claims that Marawi City is still a ghost city. On the contrary, he says Marawi City is already full of economic activities. He says the housing target is to provide 4,500 temporary shelters by the end of 2019. Secretary Del Rosario emphasizes that establishing a peaceful environment is half of the equation in rehabilitating Marawi. He says that their goal is for Marawi to become one of the best tourist attractions in Mindanao. DPWH also spoke. The Public Works Department is represented by Undersecretary Emil Sadain. He said they are currently working on grants and funding from foreign countries like Japan and agencies like JICA and the ADB. Some of the projects the Public Department or the Public Works Department
To be demolished. 450 houses were demolished last week, and we expect that others will follow through.
Sir, ano po ba yung main apprehensions ng mga hindi po nagbibigay ng consent, and how do you plan to resolve them? Is
Well,
it just
that
going
is
to
a-
be a matter of
Yeah.
negotiation lang yun, convincing? What can we do?
That is a very good question. Actually, last January, I think that was January 18 or 19, I went to Marawi City and I talked to about 200 residents. And I found out directly from them na ang kauna-unahang reservation why they do not like to give consent was because they were thinking na once yung footprint ng kanilang mga bahay ay nawala, hindi na sila makakabalik doon sa kanilang mga lupa at kukunin ng gobyerno. So I assured them na meron sigurong disinformation na gano'n ang sinasabi. And despite the numerous consultations na ginagawa namin, engagement with the barangay officials, the barangay captain, and councilors, it's hard to really to reach out to about 11,000 families. But we are gaining ground. 45% is now giving their consent, and we hope that we will progress as we move forward. We're telling them na with the latest technology, kung saan nakatayo ang perimeter ng iyong lupa o footprint ng iyong bahay, exactly makakabalik ka doon. Because before we touch any sector with residential buildings or commercial buildings, kinukunan natin yan ng drone shot to pinpoint exactly the location of the perimeter of each house. So wala tayong walang sinasabi namin, we have to clarify to them na with the present technology, they have nothing to worry about. And the President himself informed them during one of his visits that nothing will be taken away by the government from them. In fact, about 2,000 hectares of the military reservation is inside Marawi City. At ang sabi ng ating Presidente, if there is conflict at meron ng mga claimants within that 2,000 hectares, the government will not insist anymore in getting those lots from the residents. And would you believe, out of 2,000 hectares, ang recoverable na lang ng Armed Forces of the Philippines is only 50 hectares. Yung 1,950 hectares, ibibigay ng gobyerno sa mga rightful claimants.
So I'm not sure about this, but yung mga may-ari po ng bahay doon, do all of them have, are you assuming that all of them have titles doon sa properties nila? Could that also be an issue? Baka yung iba hesitant because they don't have
Yes, we
title?
assure them na even tax declaration will do. Basta magkapag-testify yung mga barangay officials na ever since ikaw ang family mo ang nakatira sa bahay na yan, even without title, it will not be taken from them.
Okay. Rose Novenario?
Hi, sir. Sir. Hello, sir. Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, sir. Nabanggit nyo kanina na parang may plano kayong gawing parang tourist spot itong Marawi City. Anong klase pong security preparation yung gagawin po ng security officials para po maging safe yung mga turistang posible pong dumayo dun sa syudad?
Well, ang kailangan kasi natin dito is not only the government or the security sector, but the population, the people themselves. They should be one with us in ensuring that they will not allow the entry of the terrorists, the mga ISIS mautig group na makapasok. If the citizens themselves are active in telling the military once there are new faces and they feel that they are terrorists, it's their responsibility now to immediately report to the military. Of course, we provide physical presence from the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police. But we could not cover the whole area. So we need eyes and ears from the citizens themselves.
Sir,
Kailangan natin ang tulong ng mamayan. Kung sa isang barangay o isang sitio may pumasok doon, report immediately. At yun na ginagawa sa marami ngayon. Kaya may hirapan makabalik ang ISIS Maute in Marawi City.
Sir, i-recommenda nyo bang magpatupad ng reward system para ma-encourage po yung mga mamamayan na ituro o mag-report sa AFP and PNP ng terrorist presence po sa kanilang communities?
Well, that can be considered by the security sector so that if the reward system will deliver, then that is a good option that can be considered by the AFP and the PNP.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Questions? RJ?
Sir, review lang po, sir. What are the 22 components again, sir, of the rehabilitation, sir?
Napakarami niyan, 22. Meron ba
Pero
tayong slide?
out of these 22, we have already, okay, yung priorities na, sir.
Ang priority, there are two.
There are two.
Debris management and road networks and public utilities.
But out of
Nakalamsam yan,
22,
okay?
how many have been started?
The debris management is the key. We have to remove the debris. If you have seen the whole area, it's about 90% devastated. We could not start anything unless and until that we have removed all this debris. It started last November.
Yes.
It stopped in December, and it resumed last week. And we are going to complete the debris management not later than August or September of the year.
And sir, out of 22, which of these are under joint venture agreements?
There is no joint venture agreement.
So,
It's all public bidding. The debris management will be emergency mode of procurement, including the road networks and underground utilities.
this is the direct
go with it.
procurement you mean?
Emergency procurement or negotiated procurement.
All right, sir.
All others will be public bidding.
And which companies, sir?
It's the
outside
National
or-
House. No more.
No
It's
more.
all local.
It's all local.
Yes.
How many companies are we targeting?
It doesn't matter whether one or two. It depends on the capability of that company to undertake the project that will be given to them. The negotiation is now undergoing with the National Housing Authority as the implementing agency. All the others will come in once the debris management is completed or even before. It can overlap. So the different implementing agencies from DPWH, the local government unit will be given projects, and they will be the one to undertake the procurement process.
So ano nangyayari dun sa Chinese companies, sir, dati na in-announce ninyo?
The joint venture agreement, actually, I would like to clarify all these things. At marami kasing intrigues na they develop because of Chinese companies being given priority. That's not true. When we announced the rehabilitation of Marawi City, only 5 companies submitted their unsolicited proposals. Of those 5 companies, 4 came from China and 1 from Malaysia. So that's the main reason kung bakit walang local company na nag-submit ng unsolicited proposal. So we selected 1 that we feel that can best serve the interest of the rehabilitation. When we started March until July, and there were 3 departments who told us that there might be some legal problems if we pursue the joint venture agreement as a modality of procurement, because not all the projects will generate income. Kasi in a joint venture agreement, you negotiate with a feasibility study that this particular project will earn profit. And from the profit, you share with the government providing the land and the investor providing the facilities or development. There is no profit sharing in the road networks. There is no profit sharing in the construction of school buildings. So, in a way, those who feel that there is some sort of legal issues if we pursue with a joint venture agreement, there is soundness to their comments. So we agreed and did not continue with a joint venture agreement anymore.
So out of these 22 components, we are saying that we don't have any projects that can generate income.
Maybe 1 or 2, just like the
1 or 2.
convention center. It can generate income, but a joint venture will take a long process. At the beginning, I would like a joint venture agreement so that only one big developer can undertake all the projects to attain a synchronized effort in the construction of the whole area. Because there are big companies who can undertake all these projects at the same time to synchronize everything. Sample ko nga before ng isang simple project natin, Bagon, yung ating mga trains, ilalagay mo sa riles, nung isalpak, hindi pala compatible. Very simple project. Here is a Bagon, and meron ditong riles, nung isalpak mo, hindi pala tapat at mas malapad o mas maliit yung riles. I do not like that to happen. And so I want a big developer para synchronize ang lahat na gagawin inside the rehabilitation. But that did not push through.
But why did it take like almost a year or over a year for you to decide which procurement mode?
I think that's not right. It's from March to July, I said. March, April, May, June, July, 4 months. Because I was insisting, I feel deep inside that it is the right thing to do. To ensure that it can, the rehabilitation will be fast-tracked and undertaken properly.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, questions, MPC? O sa other issue muna tayo. May question, Cathy?
Sir, follow-up lang po, hindi lang po na update regarding po sa foreign aid na ibinigay po para sa Marawi Rehab. And bakit po kailangan po ng additional fund?
Asik Toby will
Okay
answer.
po, thank you.
Salamat po, Secretary. Ang ating overall budget para sa Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Reconstruction and Recovery Program ay 67.99 billion pesos. Ang 41.81 billion ay na-erase na po. At ang breakdown po niyan ay 35.17 or 35.1 billion in concessional financing and grants from ODA partners, and then the rest are humanitarian assistance na yung iba po na provide na, at saka yung local financing ho natin through the Marawi retail bonds. Pero yan po ay hindi pa po na launch. That will give all Filipinos the opportunity to contribute to the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Marawi pag na-launch na po yung ating Marawi retail bonds.
Bakit po sir kailangan pa ng additional fund kung meron na pong natitira pang mga funds? Kasi bakit po kulang pa?
Hindi po. Yung nabanggit ko po na 67.99 billion, yan na po ang budget na napagkasunduan ng task force at saka ng ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Of the 67.99, mahigit sa kalahati ay available na po, yung 41.81 billion. Of the 41.81 billion, nakahati po siya between ODA, humanitarian, and yung local financing through the Marawi retail bonds. So, hindi po siya dagdag. Talagang kasama po siya sa estimate dun sa total budget of 67.99 billion pesos.
I was referring to the 2019 proposed budget na hinihingi. Kasi earlier, OCD head Ricardo Halad, sabi niya po yung task force is asking for additional 8.5 billion for the rehabilitation. Sa 2019 budget po ito.
Well, actually, ang sinasabi ni Yusek Khaled, kailangan kasi yung appropriated na ang pagkunan natin. Kasi kahit nag-issue tayo ng Marawi bonds, kahit na andyan na yung pera, let's say meron tayong na-generate na 20 billion, hindi mo na natin pwedeng magamit yan unless the appropriate ng Congress. Yung sinasabi niyan, appropriated na, magagaling sa National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund under the Office of the President. We can tap that, and it's about 17 or 18 billion. So, humihingi kami para ma-funding yung mga projects for 2019. For 2020, there will be another round because we have to prioritize. Hindi natin pwedeng isang bagsak yung total requirements. So, some projects will be undertaken in 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Okay, MPC questions on Joseph?
Ina, sir, has a question.
Then, sir, just to follow up dun kay Kat, how do you intend to raise the yung kulang pa po, yung balance sa budget?
In terms of the overall budget for Bangon Marawi?
67.9.
Yes.
We have 54 lang in total.
So, kwan po, through Marawi bonds, several tranches po of Marawi bonds. So the ODA component is 35.1 billion. Yung humanitarian assistance, 6.64 billion. And then the balance through the Marawi retail bonds.
Okay, Joseph.
And then I would like to add some more, no? Issuance ng Marawi bonds. Iba kasi, lalo na yung bakit daw kailangan mag-issue pa ng Marawi bonds against the culture daw ng mga Muslims, yung hindi nakakaintindi dahil hindi pwede sa kanila yung mga pautang or something. Let us consider Marawi bonds as a form of investment. Kasi kaya nga tayo mag-i-issue ng Marawi bonds, ang guarantor government, mag-i-invest ka, it's your savings. Instead of ipasok mo sa savings or time deposit, invest mo sa Marawi bonds, medyo higher ang balik sa investor. So yun ang concept natin. And it is a unifying activity. Isipin mo, anybody sa retail market kasi, lahat tayo pwedeng mag-invest. At nag-invest ka na para magkaroon ka ng interest, may balik sa'yo, instead of saving it in the bank, nakatulong ka pa sa rehabilitation ng Marawi. It is a unifying activity that will unite the Filipinos, that pakita natin, regardless of religion, we are together to help Marawi rise again.
Okay, Joseph?
Sir, yung sa schedule lang, no? Because you said that the debris is probably the bulk of the work, no? Aside from reconstruction. When do you intend to finish the debris clearing?
Not later than August or September
August and September. But
of the year, yeah.
And then after that, you can proceed with the reconstruction?
Actually, it's part of the reconstruction. But even before that, maybe as early as June or July, the road networks, the cleared areas, we can start already with the road construction. And in some areas cleared already, and we envision to construct, let's say, the convention center, the barangay halls, or the school buildings, once these areas are cleared already, even before August or September, construction can start already. Kaya we are confident that we can complete the rehabilitation by December of 2021.
All right, so can we say, sir, that mid-year you can start reconstructing? When I say reconstructing, you have the facilities, no, the infrastructures, the gymnasium, the convention
Center, yes.
By mid-year, sir, pwede na.
No, I think the first one will be the road networks.
Road
It now depends on the implementing agencies because they are now conducting their pre-procurement process. And in procurement, it takes about 6 months minimum. So kaya nga ang kinukuha tama-tama lang to, we are conducting debris management. The road networks may be implemented by June or July. Other implementing agencies can follow immediately after the completion of their procurement process. But we ask them to conduct the pre-procurement as early as now.
So remember last year, no, we've been talking about groundbreaking, and that has been reset, no? When we say groundbreaking, we're talking about groundbreaking of the
Debris management, yes.
Debris management. So have
in
you
the
finally had a
groundbreaking?
Mhm.
We had it last October 30.
October 30? Ayun yung October 30.
Yeah, 2018.
Okay, sir. Just one last point. So, remember also last year, we were talking about this Chinese consortium, no? As parang sila yung gagawa ng trabaho. And you said it's been scrapped, correct?
Yes.
So it's not the government that's going to do all the rehabilitation and construction?
The private contractors, local private contractors.
Contracted by the government?
Yes. By the implementing agencies.
Agencies, sir, would be the DPWH? and
DPWH, National Housing Authority, the PPA for the pier and wharves, the National Museum for the museum, and so forth. So kanya-kanya na sila. Kasi yun ang expertise nila. DTI, I think for the convention center.
Sir, ano lang yung legal concern that finally convinced you that probably that is not the way to go?
Well, a joint venture is not a way to go because there were 3 departments who told us, the PPP Center, the DOF, and DBM, telling us that it may be contrary to established rules and procedures. So,
Meaning?
it's not for profit. It's not a profit-sharing scheme.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay, RJ?
Sir, on the issuance of bonds again, sir, probably they are saying that's haram, sir. Are they saying in their culture or religion that's haram? Are they? Not really.
I don't know exactly, ano. But there is a certain degree of reservation on some Marnaos, but majority supports it.
So, but sir, you said there are reservations. So how do you reconcile the differences in opinions?
By telling them that it is not a yung pautang na 5-6, it's not. Definitely, it's not a pautang. It is investment on the part of those who would like. Kasi malaki pagkakaiba eh. Ako, kapitalista ako. Magpapautang ako sa inyong lahat. Ang charge ko 5-6. So it's about 20% a month. So it's different. It's now you who will give me money so that I can undertake the project. You are investing to the government. So baliktad. So mali ang perception.
So the opposition to that is not very serious.
Wala na actually when we explain that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, MPC questions? Bernadette?
Kay Asek Lambino po. Sir, kailan po ilo-launch yung Marawi bonds po, sir?
Tatanong po natin sa ating National Treasurer, si TOP Lea, kung kailan po. Marami pong market considerations na tinitingnan bago po i-launch ang isang bond. Kaya timing po siya.
Okay, sir. How about the impact of delayed passage of budget po sa rehab po? Meron po kaya, sir?
May delay po ba because of the budget delay? I don't think so. Wala naman. Actually, we are moving forward. We are using the 2018 budget. No. For the initial projects. So if it will be approved within the month, then no problem. Approved. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, questions, MPC. Or mag-other issue muna and then later kung may tanong pa about Bangon Marawi, we still have naman Secretary De Rosario and Yusek Sadaing. Joseph, with Asek Lambino.
One of your people told. Sir, rice tarification.
Yes.
I heard you have an update.
Well, nasabi nga po ni General De Rosario kanina, for Marawi, we have a rice plan. For all Filipino people, we have now a better rice plant. No? Ang ating rice tarification ay napakahalaga. Sorry, Joseph. Napakahalaga po nitong reformang ito para maging mas affordable ang bigas para sa lahat ng rice consumers. More than 100 million Filipinos are rice consumers. In fact, even smallholder farmers are net consumers of palay and of rice. Ang napakahalaga po nito ay pinirmahan na po ni Presidente Duterte noong February 15. And so if we count from the date of publication, which was February 18 on the official Gazette's website, then the rice tarification law, the main parts of it, come into effect on March 5 of 2019.
Sir, illustrate lang in terms of importing rice, no? And then pagbaba sa ground yan, how is it going to affect our local farmers?
Well, dati po kasi under the quantitative restriction regime ay yung mga may import license lang po na binibigay ng NFA ang maaring mag-angkat ng bigas. So now, under the tarified regime, anybody who is able to secure a phytosanitary and sanitary permit, which essentially means wala pong sakit, walang peste yung kanilang ipinapasok na bigas, ay maaring mag-angkat ng bigas. Basta po babayaran nila yung karampatang buwis, no, the import tariff, which is set at 35% for ASEAN countries, any quantity. For the MAV, yung ating minimum access volume or our promise to the international community in terms of how much we will import. Kung nasa loob po ng MAV, yung importation, ay nasa 40% kung non-ASEAN country, yung tariff rate, at nasa 180% yung tariff rate kung lagpas po sa MAV. In effect, ang mangyayari po nito ay tatlong bagay. Una, bababa po ang presyo ng bigas sa ating mga retail markets from 2 to 7 pesos per kilo. Yan po ang estimate natin. Pangalawa, mayroon po tayong taripa na ikokolekta. Ang estimate po natin dyan ay 7 to 11 billion pesos in the first year for a full year implementation. Ngayon, regardless of how much we collect, 10 billion pesos has been earmarked by the rice tarification law para po sa enhanced productivity and the competitiveness of our rice farmers. So 50% of 10 billion for mechanization, several billion for rice seeds na mas malago, ang ani, more resilient to climate change, more resilient to pests and disease. At saka meron po tayong credit facility with very low interest rates to be implemented by Land Bank and DBP, at iba pa pong mga training programs at extension support services. So ang full 10 billion is the minimum that has been earmarked for our rice farmers for at least the next 6 years. And then Congress will review the program kung i-extend, i-expand, o kung ano po ang decision nila after 6 years. The third thing that we will gain is lower inflation rate. Dahil po ang estimate ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas ay with a full year of tarification, bababa po ang ating inflation rate by 0.6 percentage points, which brings us within the target inflation range of 2 to 4% by 2019. In fact, the latest point estimate of BSP is 3.2% for 2019.
So may concern lang na ni-raise, will that parang minimize or downsize the role of NFA under the tarification and can lead to maybe probably displacement of NFA employees? Tama ba yung fear na yan?
There are two considerations. First is the rice tarification law emphasizes the role, the vital role of NFA in emergency buffer stocking. Dahil po napakahalaga na yung mga lugar na nasasalanta ay magkaroon ng access sa bigas. No? It is the country's staple. And second, yung NFA po ay binigyan ng 30 days para mag-submit sa GCG ng kanilang restructuring plan. So we will know when they submit their restructuring plan to the GCG kung ano po yung impact.
So that's going to really affect the manpower of NFA. Downsize it? No?
Hindi ko po pangungunahan yung NFA restructuring plan dahil po sila po yung gagawa ng plano nila at isasubmit pa po for approval of the GCG.
Alright, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Rose?
Ay, ASEC. Sir, sabi po ng grupong Banday Bigas, yung 10 billion rice fund po ay insulto sa mga magsasaka dahil lalabas daw po na sa 10 billion daw po, sa 2.7 million na farmers, lalabas po ang mapapalalang nila dun sa 10 billion 370 pesos per farmer. Paano po ito makakatulong sa kabuhayan ng magsasaka?
Sana naman ho ay wala naman hong mainsulto dahil ang investments na gusto nating gawin ay yung mga investments na makabubuti sa lahat ng rice farmers. Ang mahalaga po kasi ay pagandahin po natin ang ating infrastruktura around the rice production sector. Kailangan din po natin gawin na mas maganda yung services para sa ating mga farmers. So what we really want to do is increase the competitiveness and productivity of our rice farmers. At ang average yield po dito sa Pilipinas ngayon ay nasa mga 4 metric tons per hectare. We really want to raise that to at least 5, possibly 6 metric tons per hectare para gumanda po ang kabuhayan ng ating mga rice farmers. At gusto rin po natin na maging competitive sila internationally. According to NEDA's research, there are 57 provinces that grow rice that can be internationally competitive. At ang isa pa pong kailangan na siguro maibahagi ulit ay there are more than 100 million Filipinos who consume rice. In fact, included in that number are the smallholder rice farmers who, while during harvest, pag mataas ang presyo, maaring mag-benefit ho sila for the rest of the year, which is majority of the year, they buy rice from the retail markets. So they will benefit from the lower price as well.
Paano po ninyo mapapakalma yung apprehension po ng farmers groups? Mayroon ba kayong plano makipag-dialogue sa kanila? Paano nyo sila makakausapin para magpaliwanag?
Napakahalaga po niyan at kasama po talaga sa implementation plan. No? Pagdating po sa pag-finalize ng IRR, ang consultations. At iikot po sa buong Pilipinas ang magko-consult para po makuha po ang lahat ng pananaw tungkol sa mga issue na mahalaga sa ating mga magsasaka.
So, meron pong katiyakan na maa-address nyo yung concerns nila through that consultations na binanggit nyo?
Well, for sure, there will be consultation, there will be dialogue. And in some cases, baka compromise arrangements ang mangyayari, pero kailangan ho bukas ang ating usapan tungkol dun sa mga concerns. Lalong-lalo na po yung concerns ng ating magsasaka. Explain ko lang po ng konti dahil kung yung presyo po ng farm gate natin ay nasa less than 20 pesos at ang presyo po ng retail natin ay lagpas 40 pesos, hindi po, yung difference po na yan, na lagpas 20 pesos from farm gate to retail, hindi po yan napupunta sa magsasaka natin. May iba hong nakikinabang dyan. Ang gusto po natin gawin is through rice tarification, yung makakalap po nating taripa ay para sa mga magsasaka lamang. At yan po ay naka-earmark po based on the law.
Thank you.
Okay, mag-last question na tayo. Raymond.
Sir, may sinasabi po kasi na agam-agam yung respetadong food scientist, yung dating agriculture secretary si William Dar, na dehado ang mga Filipino farmers for now dahil nga sa competitiveness sa ibang mga farmers dahil sa napakataas na production cost dito sa Pilipinas. So, parang mas lalo malulugmok in few years time yung mga magsaka dahil bubuhusan pa ng imported rice habang hindi pa naman maayos yung mga, halimbawa yung simple na lang na lagi pinagkakagatasan ng mga korap yung irigasyon.
Kailangan ho talagang ma-address ang corruption. Hindi ho, that should have no place in the implementation of the Rice Fund, and the IRR is being crafted para ganun nga po ang mangyari. Ngayon po, with all due respect to Dr. Dar, the implementation of the rice tarification law is vital to the national interest, and it should be done as soon as possible. At least in terms of the core elements, no? Yung pag-shift to a tarified system na wala na pong import licensing mula sa NFA para po maluwag po ang pag-angkat ng bigas at magbe-benefit po ang more than, again, no, sabihin ko, more than 100 million Filipino rice consumers. Yan po yung priority natin alongside our priority of helping our rice farmers become more productive and competitive. Kaya nga po may konsultasyon with the affected and relevant sectors para po yung taripa ay magastos ng maayos. At the same time, in the NFA Council meeting yesterday, napag-usapan po, in the restructuring of the NFA, there will probably be savings. And the savings should also be used as soon as possible para po suportahan ang ating mga magsasaka.
Yun nga yung concern na lang siguro, yung agam-agam talaga ng lahat na yung rice fund. Yung 10 billion, talagang mapupunta sa magsaka. Lalo ang parang yung mga nasa lalawigan ay baka hindi naman makikinabang naman. Saka hindi pa pwede yung 10 billion lang naman yan, parang sa laki ng mga kinukurakot ng mga opisyal. Hindi ba pwedeng kunin na lang sa ibang mga alokasyon at ang i-import na lang sana daw ay yung kulang sa supply ng ating bigas. And for now, habang tumataas yung competitiveness ng ating mga rice farmers.
Lagpas 20 years na po tayo nagsasabi na we will improve productivity by delaying tarification. Dalawang extension na po ang binigay sa atin based on our international commitments to the WTO at nagtatanong na po before we tarify ang ibang bansa kung kailan ho tayo magta-tarify ng rice. So since 1996 ay humingi na po tayo ng special treatment for rice, and we've been saying that we will improve productivity before we tarify. Between 1996 and 2018 ay hindi po nangyari yon, and that means I don't think whatever they were trying to do at the time was working. So we are now fulfilling our international commitment para po we are true to our word, and also so that we do not run the risk that other countries will retaliate in terms of tariffs on other products, no? Other Filipino products. So we really needed to do this, but at the same time, tarification will not work if the regulatory aspect is not addressed. Kasi po ang sinasabi ng iba, tarify but keep the regulatory function. Hindi po magwo-work dahil taliwas po sa tarification yung import licensing function ng NFA. So because we tarified, we should tarify correctly, which means dapat wala na pong import licenses. At the same time, meron naman pong sanitary and phytosanitary safeguard ang Bureau of Plant Industry para po siguradong wala hong papasok na import na may disease or may pest.
Sir, last point from my partner. Sir, mga time frame upon the effectivity of the law, mga ilang taon bago magiging totally, we can say na competitive yung mga farmers natin versus yung mga nasa Vietnam and Thailand na for now ay siyempre magiging so happy ngayon sa rice tarification law.
Titingnan po natin yung time frame sa rice roadmap na tinatapos na po ng DA. This is for finalization dahil po inaantay po yung decision on tarification. So now that the decision has been made, the President has signed the law, ay pwede na pong i-finalize yung rice roadmap. Nandyan po ang timeline toward competitiveness. That being said, mahalaga pong ibahagi na ayon sa NEDA, we have 57 provinces that are rice growing that have the potential to be internationally competitive. And we have some areas in the country that are already competitive tulad po ng Nueva Ecija at iba pang lugar sa Region 3. Maganda na po ang ating performance. In addition, lastly, meron din po tayong high-value rice na dapat i-promote tulad ng mga heirloom rice varieties sa Cordillera at saka sa Arakan Valley. Ang benta po nito ay lagpas $10 per kilo sa mga specialty market abroad. No? So we should really also support our heirloom rice varieties dahil yan po ay in-export po natin for the past years, even though we've been a net importer for the main bulk of the well-milled rice.
Okay. Thank you, Raymond. Question, how about Joseph?
Sir, regarding the rice fund, you mentioned sa IRR, there are going to be safeguards. No, can you elaborate so far what have you thinking of safeguarding? The rice
Kailangan po natin ng magandang governance structure pagdating sa mga pondo dahil po ang implementing agencies ng Rice Fund ay iba-iba. Pagdating po sa mechanization, it's PhilMech. Pagdating po sa magagandang binhi ay PhilRice. At pagdating sa access to credit, nandyan po ang LBP, ang Land Bank of the Philippines at saka ang DBP. Yan po ang mga nakasaad sa batas. So we need very good governance mechanisms that will make sure that the funds are appropriated correctly, not just for the purchase of the right equipment and the right seeds and the propagation of these seeds, pero pati po yung research. No? Dapat ho, maganda po ang basehan ng pagbili ng mga machines at saka ang tama po ang pag-distribute ng mga high value and high yielding seeds based on the agroclimatic conditions of the various rice growing areas.
Okay, just one last point, sir. Under the rice tarification law, how can our farmers compete with cheaper rice coming from abroad again?
Well, because of better productivity and the use of technology and agricultural science ay makakalaban po ang maraming lugar sa Pilipinas na rice growing. So by adopting better seeds, better farm management techniques, by the better use of pesticides and fertilizers, tama po yung oras at dami ng gamit, by adjusting perhaps planting seasons para optimal po ang yield, and of course by mechanizing dahil dyan po tayo nagkukulang in many parts of the country. Hindi po mechanized ang rice farming. Ang sinasabi po nila na magtanim ay di biro. Kung manual planting po, talagang masakit sa likod. But if you mechanize, then we have a better livelihood and quality of life for our farmers. At yan po ang layunin ng rice tarification law, not just to tarify so that rice is cheaper for everyone, but so that our farmers have better livelihoods.
And all these are under the regime of the rice fund, no?
Meron pong breakdown yung rice fund sa batas.
Okay.
Opo.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Seca Lambino. Thank you, MPC. Okay na tayo? No more questions na? Okay, thank you, Secretary Del Rosario. Thank you, Yusek Emil Sadain. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.
Go.